Hey guys, Bar from TST Industries here. In this video, I'm going to show you the installation of the Womet-Tech racing adjustable levers on a Honda CBR500R, and the installation is actually going to be exactly the same for the CBR500F. Now, these are really nice CNC machined replacements for the OEM levers. They actually modify the mechanical advantage that you will feel. They'll fit your hand better, you'll have more comfort, a little bit different pull forces, and you'll have 6 levels of adjustability. They are really simple to install. We'll take you through the steps. Follow along, let's get started. All right, so we are going to get started on the left side of the bike with the clutch lever. So in preparation for this, we will need to know that the clutch cable needs to be loosened and then the pivot bolt needs to be removed. So to do that, we will grab a 10mm box wrench and start undoing that nut on the bottom. As you can see, our slotted head on top started moving around, so we'll hold it with a flathead screwdriver. Once this is out, it'll need to be pressed from the bottom to complete the removal here. So pressed it from the bottom a little bit, and then I'm just gonna turn it clockwise until it releases. Now I'll take a set of pliers and unlock the locking feature on the cable adjuster. Just like most of these, they do have split faces, and this is through where you will be removing the cable. So you want to put the adjuster as close to the perch as possible with these slots aligned with the slot in the perch, and then we could take the cable out just like that. We will spin the lever upside down, grab the cable, and remove the cable pull out of the lever. The lever can go to the side. Now we'll take our nice new Womet-Tech lever. I always like to apply a little bit of grease to these surfaces. Once I apply that in there, I like to take the pivot bolt, get that grease distributed in there. All right, and this is ready to go in. I'll grab that cable with my lever upside down, get the cable pull into the counter bore where it's supposed to be inserted until it's deep enough that I could get it into the slot. Now this got out of place a little bit. I'm going to readjust it so that the slots are all aligned, and I'll be able to insert this lever back in. All right, and now aligning the pivot surface inside my lever fulcrum with the hole in the perch will enable me to drop my pivot bolt in there. And I'm going to start threading that in while being careful that I don't cross thread anything. And that looks like it went on pretty smooth. I'm going to bottom this screw out. At that point, I will thread on the 10mm nut that I took off from the bottom. And now I can just tighten this in place. So when you tighten this, you have to make sure you don't over tighten it and you don't pinch the perch around the clutch lever fulcrum. if you pinch it too much, you will obstruct movement, and that will result in unsafe situations. So definitely check for that. Once the nut is tightened down and locked, now we're pretty much left with adjusting the clutch cable. I usually recommend going to your factory owner's manual for the bike and reading about how the manufacturer recommends the cable tightening. The way I perform it myself is I will get it to one stop and the opposite stop and make sure that I have just a little bit of motion left, and that way at those extreme deflections of your bars you don't have the clutch cable being pulled in. So I have about an 1/8 inch movement. I'm okay with that. I'm going to tighten down on the adjuster. Now that is ready to go. Another thing to watch for is that now your levers are a bit taller, especially in the 6th adjustment. So make sure that they don't interfere with anything on your body work. All right, and at this point you just adjust this adjuster here to your liking, to where it is most comfortable for you. You have 6 levels that deflect the lever away from the bar. For myself on this bike, I think 5 looks pretty good to me. On the brake side, we are going to begin by removing the nut off the bottom of the pivot bolt. At that point, we'll grab another 10mm socket this time. You could probably do this with an open-ended or a box wrench, but it's just much more convenient to do it with a ratchet. And once this comes out, this lever just pops out really easily. So we will grab our nice new Womet-Tech lever, and then before we put it all back together, I'm going to inspect and make sure that there's no significant grime in place. And to me, it just looks like there's a bunch of grease in there. One thing to note, on the way back in, you have to make sure that this surface mates with the little brake reed switch here. So now I'm just gonna apply a little bit of grease to the bearing surfaces here. And just like on the other side of the bike, I'm gonna get my pivot bolt through there and distribute that grease. I'm gonna get a little bit of that grease on the flat surfaces that interface with the master cylinder. And now I'm able to put this back in. Now, this feature here contacts your piston for the master cylinder, and like I said before, this contacts your switch. So before putting any fasteners through, I'm going to make sure everything's in place correctly, and then I'm going to get this pivot bolt in. The reason why I'm using an open-ended wrench here is because I need to wiggle this around the whole fulcrum within the master cylinder mount here as I'm trying to align the threads. All right, now that I have the threads engaged, I'm going to use my 10mm socket on a ratchet. It just makes it more convenient for me. Once I bottom it out, I'll give it another maybe 1/6 of a turn, making sure that it's bottomed out tight, but not obstructing the brake motion, and also that we don't have any extraneous ability to move this up and down. I'm going to replace the nut from the bottom. And then tighten it down. That's pretty much it. I'm going to test to make sure I have proper brake motion and nothing is obstructing my brake. And that seems good here. Once again, you have 6 different levels of adjustment. For myself, pretty long fingers, so a little bit further away will be good. 6 is just a little extreme. 4 seems okay. 5 is perfect for me. Again, this is pretty much up to you where you set it. You have 6 different levels of adjustment on both sides. They don't have to be on the same level on both sides. For me, it just happened to be number 5. You will be able to judge that and adjust it to your best comfort. Besides that, this installation is complete. The bike is ready to go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.